ABC-7 broke a story on University Medical Center CEO Jim Valenti's about $120,000 bonus awarded just 3 months after more than 50 hospital employees were laid off. The story hit a nerve with our viewers and some members of Commissioner's Court. Yesterday, due to concerns over that and other issues, Commissioner Vince Perez called for the resignation of UMC Board of Managers co-chair Laura Ponce. And Commissioner Perez joins us now to discuss his decision to seek that resignation and his concerns with the UMC Board of Managers. Hi, welcome, Commissioner Perez.
Thank you for having me.
So, it's been a tough year for UMC, by all accounts. They've had a strained relationship with Texas Tech and with the Children's Hospital. Even that review, that evaluation for Jim Valenti, some of the board members left comment that they thought he was a little thin-skinned and that maybe he said some comments that he shouldn't have said in the public, but that nonetheless he met his main goals that were outlined in his contract. Primary care, physician care, patient care is at its highest that it's ever been at UMC. So they say he deserved that raise. What do you think about that?
Well, one of the elements that was part of that evaluation was his ability to cultivate and maintain relationships with local elected officials as well as state and federal officials. And I think over the past 2 years since I've been on the court, there's been a deterioration in the relationship between Commissioners Court and the Board of Managers. I think we saw this year, for example, earlier they called for an 8% tax increase, only to have 3 days later them rescind that plan and say, well, a tax increase isn't necessary.
They backtracked.
They backtracked. They asked Commissioners Court for a $20 million tax anticipation note, which is a short-term loan once they get their tax revenues next year. Commissioners Court approved that because there were cash flow issues. And then you saw that there were 56 employees who were laid off, partly due to the situation with Children's Hospital, and they viewed that as necessary to help preserve cash as well. And then you see a very large bonus being awarded, and I think it sends mixed signals. It sends mixed signals not only to the Commissioners Court, but to the public at large.
So why do you think the relationship is deteriorating between Commissioners Court and the board?
Well, I think when you get these two different pictures of one that a tax increase is necessary and then it's not, and then a tax anticipation note is necessary and we don't really receive updates. We haven't received updates on the bond that was passed last year. It's creating a situation where there really isn't a lot of trust and communication between the two entities.
Is that why you're calling for the resignation of Laura Ponce, the co-chair?
Yes. Well, and in particular in the evaluation on his marks as it pertained to his ability to cultivate those relationships, he received relatively high marks. And in my view, the relationship has deteriorated, and I really haven't seen an effort to improve that relationship. I can only speak to my board member who represents Precinct 3. She was appointed by my predecessor, and I just felt that it was the appropriate time to ask her to step down because I didn't believe that building that trust and building that relationship was a high priority for my representative.
Okay, and I did see in the evaluation that some of the board members left comments about how Mr. Valenti has to work on the relationships with federal officials and I'm sorry, with local elected officials. Thank you so much, Commissioner Perez.
All right.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.